Hello everybody, welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. This is video number 2 of the Art of War series that I'm putting out to talk about elements of the game that aren't usually discussed, to give people an idea of how battles work and so on, because there's a lot of guessing involved, and at least I can give you some understanding of how battles work, and that should help you perform a little better. Before I get started, though, I want to make sure that I am putting out a disclaimer every single time because everything I say in this video is, one, simplified and incomplete. I can't include everything. There's just a lot of factors that will influence some of these elements in the game, so I'm trying to simplify it so that it's understandable. Number 2, there's a lot of speculative knowledge, which means I'm not 100% sure about any of this, and really nobody is 100% sure about anything in this game because there's no official documentation that tells us exactly how battles work and so on. The only people that can be 100% sure are the ones that have actually made the game. However, that being said, a lot of this is based off of experience and talk, and it should be fairly accurate at the very least. It could become obsolete in the future depending on different patches and so on, but it's a good starting place. Also, the last thing I'll say is different players have different interpretations. Not everyone's going to agree with me, and I might be wrong, I might be right, I don't know, and neither do they. But here we go anyway. What I want to talk about today are rallies and solos. I want to talk about when you should be doing rallies, when you should be doing solos, and I want to do some particular discussion over the concept of layers and how those work, and why it's so important to decide how you're going to attack. So, first topic, when should you solo? Second topic, when should you rally? And then just the discussion of the layers. Okay, starting off, when should you solo? You might consider do a solo when you know you're going to win. You've done a scout and you've looked at the troops. You've confirmed that they're probably not ghosting. They're not going to bait and switch you. They're not going to... it's not a trap. They're not going to have reinforcements. If you know you're going to win, solo. All right? But keep a lot of those things in mind. You know, you could be tricked using different techniques. And I've used a couple of keywords here that some people might not understand, and that's okay. I'll discuss them in the future. You might consider a solo when you know that your enemy is going to lose more power than you. This is particularly true in battlefields like Constantinople and Guatemala, where your troops are going to get replaced. Sometimes one of the things you want to consider, even server versus server, sometimes one of the ways you want to look at it is, if I attack this player, I might lose, but will I get more out of it than they would? So if you attack someone and you lose 20 million power, you still lose the battle, but they lose 50 million power, then you've lost, but you also won in terms of power, so that's good. As long as you can replace those troops. And that's why I say this is particularly useful in things like Guatemala and Constantinople, where you're trying to get points and you're trying to win, but you're going to get those troops back anyway, so you might as well spend them in the most efficient way possible. Another way that you might consider a solo is time's up in battlefield. There's 15 minutes left. It doesn't look like anything's happening. We're going to lose anyway. I might as well just throw my troops out and try to get some points. Why not, right? Better than sitting there. You're going to get your troops back anyway. Might as well try to get some points. So you could consider doing a solo in that kind of a case too. Here's when to rally. You might consider a rally with your alliance if you know you can't win the solo. So if you expect to lose, why would you attack? A rally might be the right choice, and I'm going to talk about why the rally is the right choice later, but we'll get to that. You might consider a rally when you know you're going to lose more power than your enemy. There are cases where that's not true. Sometimes you know you're going to lose, and you know you're going to lose more power, but the point is to weaken your enemy, and that's fine to solo. But in general, don't be dumb, basically. If you know you're going to lose, and you know you're going to lose more than the enemy, then rally is probably the right choice. You should probably consider to rally when you know you need to conserve troops. So it's true that some people go around the battlefield and they solo a lot, and they can get a lot of points that way, but you might run out of your useful troops very quickly, and you might have done better if you had chosen to rally targets and conserve those troops, and then use the solos later on when your opponents are weaker. That's another consideration. Another reason you might want to rally is because the enemy has reinforcements or has the potential of getting reinforcements. The reason that it's important to rally in that case is because reinforcements add layers. You've only got 14 layers plus your subs as a solo, which is not a lot if they've received reinforcements, because if they even have one reinforcement, they have their sub-city reinforcements, they have the 14 layers that somebody else gave them, and they have their own 14 layers. So that's a lot of layers that your troops need to get through to become really effective. So that is definitely a time that you would want to rally. Even if there's one reinforcement, it changes a lot. In the previous video, I talked about the visualization of layers kind of like a zipper. So what I did is I did a little elementary photo editing here with my zipper to kind of give you an idea of what rally layers look like. So if this one on the left of the screen here, the grayish part of the zipper, is you defending, or sorry, yeah, the enemy defending, they've got 14 layers of troops, and really they might have some sub-cities too, so they might have, you know, a couple different layers that I'm going to talk about later, but let's just look at it like they have 14 layers with no reinforcements. If I have a rally on them, what I'm doing is I've got my 14 layers, but then I've got a lot of other 14 layers of troops as well. So the opponent, even though they have a lot of troops at home, they might have millions and millions of troops, but their millions of T4 have to get through my T4, my friend's T4, my other friend's T4, my other friend's T4, and my other friend's T4 before they can move up to the next tier. So the more layers you have, the more rounds of battle the enemy's units have to get through to get to your high value units. So you definitely want to have as many layers as possible. It might even be useful to have low layers of units. Even one unit is enough to kind of stall the enemy's defensive units for even a round or two. All right, solo layers. So in a comparison, if you were attacking that same enemy with the 14 layers, and this was you and you have 8 subs, your subs usually only have maximum 2 different tiers of units, and usually 1 tier of units. So let's say best case you have tier 8 and tier 7 units because you have some leftover troops. That will stall the tier 8 and tier 7 a little bit, but it doesn't really impact all the rest. So you are not quite as effective as a rally would be in terms of layers. The advantage of a solo is it also includes your sub-cities, which includes your debuffs. So you have an advantage in terms of debuffs as a solo attack. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. This video was a little bit shorter than the other one because it's a little more focused. But I do want to, again, take some time to thank all the channel members and people that have decided to join the Miser's Guide to Evony on YouTube. Please also consider to join the Discord channel if that interests you. It's a great community where you can discuss with other players. And if you did want to become a member of the Miser's Guide to Evony and support the channel, then you can do so and check out the perks that you'll receive by clicking on the join button. That's all for here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.